what are some of the things that you need to make sure that you can take care of, and specifically the post-sales process? Before we get into like why, what, how did you get to this point, or how did you come to this realization?
The realization that you need post-sale experience.
Mhm.
Well, I'm biased because I grew up in the post-sale experience side of the business. Um, and so I've always known how important it is to have a well-rounded view of revenue. But I think the past 18 months is where it's the time frame in which I think the world woke up to the fact that you need post-sale experience to really be a revenue leader. And I say that because as sales, net new business got harder and harder, a lot of companies looked to the post-sale environment to hit their revenue goals. And what I observed was an industry that maybe overemphasized the hunting side of the house, moved sales leaders into revenue leadership position who had no experience post sale. And those companies were in a really tough spot when they were forced to over index on post sale to hit their revenue goals. And so I've always known, but I feel validated in the last 18 months.
I love it, because I feel like that's where I don't want to get into a battle of buzzwords here, but I remember the first time I read about customer success. It was a SaaStr Jason Lemkin blog post, and it was basically churn prevention. Extend your customer lifetime, take care of your customers. But it wasn't just, it was extend your customer lifetime, but also earn the upsell opportunity. And I feel like that second bit was lost, and it came down to kind of the name. People saw themselves as, I'm here to make the customer successful. I'm not a salesperson. I might have some frustration because I might have had a customer success team, and like that was the general mentality of, no, it was a very small team. So like, don't take my experience as the experience of every customer success agent ever. I'm curious if that reconciles with your experience with, say, customer success versus what would traditionally be an account management role or post-sale role. We'll get into definitions in a minute.
Oh, well, I think it depends on the company. So I think the archetype that is talked about, especially in tech, is the unicorn company that launches a product with extreme product market fit, where your customer success organization, the idea behind that organization is get the customer to use the product. And if they use the product, they will be so successful that retention will be easy. And I think that is a great archetype to strive for. But the truth is, especially in the last 10 years, I think the vast majority of companies, especially in early stages, don't hit that level of product market fit as early in the business life cycle as they would like to. And so what customer success ends up being is a fairly aggressive sales organization to sell around the ugly spots of the product until the organization can beautify those areas and kind of polish them up. And so they become, they're not only a deterrent to success, but they're an accelerator. And what that looks like for some customer success organizations, revenue is the absence of churn, but there's a ton of selling that goes into that. And then for some organizations, for example, the one that I work for now, we're a utilization-based revenue company. So if you're not using the product, we're not making money. And churn is not as simple as logo churn. It could be the quiet churn of a user using us less and less if the product is not delivering success. And so there's a ton of selling that goes into that for the vast majority of us who don't happen to stumble into a Series A company with perfect product market fit.
Which is, I'm sure, the experience of everybody who's listening to the
Totally.
podcast right now, because those companies are just all over the place.